Hello Sagittarius, welcome to my channel. It is an absolute pleasure to be here with you, so thank you so very much for joining me for your October 2023 Tarotscope. In the description box below, you will find links to all sorts of goodies, including my social media. You will find links to information on personal readings, as well as information on donations if those are things you would like to explore. There will also be a timestamp if you would like to jump to the start of your reading. So I want to start off by saying and apologizing for my absence and getting this to you so late. We are going to be kind of time traveling, if you will, back to October, taking a look at what took place for you. The middle of October, I actually went on vacation and came back and got very sick and was very sick for about a week and a half, and then had problems with my sciatica. And so that brought me to the beginning of November, and I didn't want to leave October just kind of lingering for those that I didn't get to before I went on vacation. So again, we're going to be time traveling, looking at what took place for you. Now, October was a universal 8-month, and that is an energy of renewal and a reminder that all things in life are connected to the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. We were asked to focus on on universal connectedness and collective humanity. This also brought forward for us self-empowerment vibes that pulled us toward expansion, growth, and divine compassion. So we are going to be looking at the overall energy that was surrounding you in October, what came to an end, what has been rebirthed, renewed, or began for you last month, and getting some wisdom that would best support your healing, growth, and evolution based on what transpired through the month. So let's dive in and see how October played out for you. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, tell us about the overall energy for Sagittarius last month, October 2023, please. All right, thank you. Tell us, please, what came to an end for Sagittarius last month, October 2023. What came to an end, please? What came to an end last month for Sagittarius? In October 2023, what came to an end, please? Oh, that's a lot of cards. But I did see Unbound, so I do feel like you may have been closing up. Thank you. Karmic cycles, soul contracts, patterns, things like this. What has been reborn, renewed, or began? Yep, right there. Thank you. And what wisdom would best support Sagittarius's healing, growth, and evolution based on what came through for them in October 2023, please? Okay, thank you. We do have a lot of cards we are using for this Tarotscope, so I do appreciate your patience. Tell us more, please, about the overall energy of October 2023 for Sagittarius. Tell us more, please, about what came through in the overall energy. Okay, thank you. Tell us more, please, what came to an end for Sagittarius last month, October 2023. Thank you. Tell us more, please, what has been reborn, renewed, or began. Right there, thank you. Tell us more, please. What wisdom would best support Sagittarius's healing, growth, and evolution? Okay. What else do we need to know, please, about the overall energy? Okay, thank you. What else do we need to know, please, about what came to an end? All right. What else do we need to know, please, about what was reborn? Thank you. Tell us more, please, about the wisdom that would best support Sagittarius in their healing, growth, and evolution based on what came through in October 2023, please. Tell us more, please. Okay, thank you. And anything else we need to know or may have missed in regards to the overall energy of October 2023 for Sagittarius. Anything we may have missed or need to know, please, for Sagittarius and what came through for them in October 2023. Okay, thank you. Anything else we need to know or may have missed about what came to an end for Sagittarius last month, October 2023, please? Anything we need to know or may have missed? Anything, thank you. Anything we need to know or may have missed about what was reborn, renewed, or began for Sagittarius last month, October 2023, please. Anything we need to know or may have missed? All right, thank you. Anything we need to know or may have missed, please? Okay, thank you. All right, let's dive in, Sag. So for October 2023, or last month, the overall energy that came in for you is you're already doing it. Stop overthinking. Keep facing your true north. I really feel like last month, Sag, you may have gotten a little bit more comfortable with who you are. I feel as though, how do I say this? It feels like perhaps for some of you prior to October, I don't know why, but it feels like there's a bit of discomfort in your own skin. There's kind of this energy of like, I'm really weird. But I feel as though what came through for you last month was really showing you that it's not necessarily bad to be weird. Your uniqueness has something, or rather there's something about your uniqueness that can provide something for others and for yourself. It provides for you a very unique perspective, right? It gives you the opportunity to understand things differently, to move differently or navigate things differently, I'm kind of seeing it as like, oh, I can see it from here, I can see it from here, I can see it from here, which really gives you this ability to kind of, let's say, if I take this path, then this might transpire. If I take this path or this path, this might transpire. So it's almost like having more solutions or more paths available to you. And I feel as though there's this energy of like, don't overthink it so much, but to follow your intuition and your unique perspective and allow that to align you. So again, there was this energy that came through for you of, you know, keep facing your true north, keep facing your truth, allow that to lead you and don't overthink it too much. Because I feel as though there's that potential for you to kind of get stuck in, let's say, analysis paralysis, or to kind of be paralyzed by fear or getting too caught up in your head, right? Which brings me to this Two of Swords. You know, it's very interesting that you have this stop overthinking energy. And so I feel like last month for you, there really was this opportunity for you to move through or move past a kind of a pause or a stalemate, to really make some decisions. Now, again, that really does depend on whether or not you were able to kind of overcome that analysis paralysis, if you were able to overcome your weirdness or your uniqueness. 10:10 on the clock. I feel like for some of you, you were able to close that cycle. You were able to complete that by moving forward, by making those what some might call more difficult choices. But I feel like this wasn't something that you were meant to be leading with your physical eyes on, right? Like, I feel like this was more tapping into your intuition, more leading with that third eye, if you will, right? Allowing it again to take you from, a place of, let's say, comfort or how would I say this? Because it kind of feels as though there might have been kind of like these paths where one is like, I already know how this plays out, or I've already done this, or something along those lines. And then there's another path where it's like, this is completely foreign to me. This is something that, I'm unsure of, or maybe makes me uncomfortable, or brings about challenges or fears or these sorts of things. And I feel, again, you were encouraged last month or in October to take that less traveled path, right? To not overthink it so much. And again, to just kind of move in the direction that you felt was truest for you. You also have here, Lumerian seed codes, embracing sensitivity, uniqueness, and living with grace. So again, it really brings to the forefront, or I feel the energy last month brought to your attention the fact that you are unique and you feel things differently and you see things differently, and you're more, let's say, open-minded, or can be more open-minded and very kind of flexible or versatile. I feel as though you were encouraged to really embrace this, to really see this as a tool, or to see this as something good versus something bad, or something that makes you weird, right? Again, it really does feel like sinking into who you are and getting comfortable in your own skin and realizing that that uniqueness, that weirdness is a benefit, right? It is something that you can utilize that will help you move differently than maybe others around you, or that would allow you to experience things in a way that's different from those around you, which can enrich your life, make it more robust, and of course can lead you or put you in better alignment with your truest self, with your highest self. So again, I feel like there's this element of the overall energy of October for you being getting very comfortable in your own skin and not thinking about it too much, which is a very powerful place to be, right? It allows you to make decisions, even difficult decisions, with a little bit more ease, right? Because it's like, what is in alignment for me? What feels true for me? What feels good to me? What feels like it's going to take me where I need to be? Yeah, you also have the energy coming through of cause and effect. You are aware that the love you create in your thoughts is an agent of change and the foundation of your results. So again, there's this energy of, if I make this choice, this is where it could lead me. But I feel that the root of that, right, is more this kind of, how would we say? It almost feels as like you may have had the goal or the outcome, and we're allowing that to pull you, right? So again, it feels like, what is true for me? What feels good to me? What is going to bring positivity into my life? What is going to create the changes that I want? And, moving according to that. But again, putting into play or doing so, recognizing the unique perspective that you have, it feels as though there's again this energy of, being comfortable in your own skin and maybe not really allowing the opinions or judgments of others to throw you out of alignment, if you will, or to deter you from taking one path over the other. You know, I feel like your intuition was speaking to you like, hey, this is what's best for you. It really doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or says or how they may perceive you or judge you. Again, this is certainly something that would depend on your choices. But I feel as though there are those of you who would resonate with, aligning with that and kind of, for lack of better terms, throwing caution to the wind, maybe tapping into your more, again, optimistic, open minded side. And it feels like some people may have, seen you as like blindly optimistic, or, um, maybe in the past you have kind of let that projection of like irresponsibility deter you from making certain decisions. But I feel as though last month this was more pushed to the background, especially for those of you who resonate with this energy. And again, that's a very powerful place to be, Sagittarius, because it does help put you in a position where you are further developing or evolving your capital I or your individuality, right? Which is a space that we are in currently. As far as our own evolution is concerned, or humanity's evolution, that is where we are currently as a collective. So again, that puts you in a really powerful position. Now, what may have come to an end for you last month? Interesting, there's the initiation rite of passage crossing the threshold. Yeah, so, like I was saying, our current level or current space of initiation as a collective is to further develop that I, or our our individuality, and to align with what is pure, what is true for us, or another way of putting this might be to align with that Christ impulse. And this is not coming from a dogmatic religion perspective. I just want to clarify that. This is coming from a more esoteric position, or a more like more of a space of like anthroposophy, or if you're familiar with Rudolf Steiner's work, spiritual science. So, I feel like what came to an end for you is that, again, that pause, right? Because there's this energy here of like a crossroads, which has already come through with the Two of Swords. And so I feel like you may have kind of been in like a freeze kind of state prior to October. And I feel like, that came to an end if you were able to see things for what they are and were able to move forward. Again, not really being paralyzed by the fear of being unique or weird, or, being irresponsible, or however that may have shown up. But again, I feel like you crossed a certain threshold. You took a step forward. You kind of stepped through that door where you may have been, just kind of, oh, I don't know what to do prior to that. Okay. Which I feel like has lightened things up for you a bit. You also have here the Page of Swords in the reverse. So, here's the thing. I really feel like what came to an end for you was almost this. I feel like you could have been like almost manipulating yourself into being something you're not, or into moving or behaving in ways that didn't really feel true for you or didn't feel in alignment to you. I feel as though it's very interesting to me because for some of you, you may have been in this perspective, or you may have had this perspective of things being one way or feeling a certain way about something, but you may have been moving in a way that went against that or was not in alignment with that. And so again, I feel as though, what came to an end is that moving in a kind of all talk kind of way, because again, it really does feel like you in the, how would I say this? You may have been kind of talking the walk instead of walking the walk. You may have been like, this is how I feel about this, but then moved differently. And so again, I feel like that came to an end. I feel as though it's like I'm no longer going to deceive myself. I'm no longer going to allow myself to be manipulated by the energies of others. I'm going to move in the way that feels best for me, right? And I love that, because I feel like for some of you, you may have kind of explored yourself a little bit more deeply, and pushed aside some of the anxiety of discovering new things. You also have here the central sun, abundance, downloads, regeneration, and success. And, the word that's standing out here the most is that regeneration energy, because I do feel like there's this sense of renewal that came. Um, again, I know I'm going to sound repetitive, but I feel like what came to an end is this kind of stagnant energy, right? That regeneration energy is coming through to me as like almost as if new life was breathed into you. It feels like you kind of, what is it? Yes, thank you. Like you have wind in your sails now. So I'm actually kind of seeing it as though, previously you may have felt as though you were in kind of like, what is the correct term? Like doldrums, I think is what it's called, when there's no wind and you're on a boat, or a water vessel of some kind, and you have no wind to move you, right? A sailboat or something like that. Um, but I feel like, that again, I feel like that came to an end for you in October. Of course, if you resonate with this, it feels like you have wind in your sails now. It feels like, okay, you feel like maybe things are finally moving again. And it's interesting because I don't know if you necessarily felt this coming, like if you felt this come to an end during the month of October. It feels more to me like maybe as we moved out of October and into November, is when you started kind of feeling like things were picking up, or things were starting to move, or that you had new life breathed into you. Okay, or another way of putting that could be maybe you felt like there was finally some light at the end of the tunnel, or maybe you were starting to see like the silver lining in the clouds, right? Okay, so you also have present. You live in the moment and are able to bring forth the energy of love in your current circumstances. Yeah, right. Again, here's the thing. I feel like previously, again, you could have been like on a pause, because there's this fear or anxiety of like, what happens if I make this decision? How are people going to judge me or perceive me? What are they going to say? Um, Type of thing. I'm actually being reminded of a line from a movie. It's called After the Ball. It's like a romantic comedy type of movie. And in that movie, there's a character who says, I say what I feel and regret it later. And this is the kind of energy that I feel. I feel like before you may have been kind of on edge or worried about things, worried about how others perceive you. And it feels like that may have come to an end last month. And you started to move from a space of like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I'm going to do what feels good to me right here, right now. I'm going to move accordingly and trust that whatever comes next is meant for me. I'm going to trust that this is the right decision for me right now. And if for some reason things don't unfold in a way that feels good, then I can pivot. I can move differently as I move on, as I move forward. So, I feel like you were brought back to being present in the moment and maybe not so worried about what happened in the past or what could happen in the future, but rather just this is what I feel right now, and I'm going to move according to that. At the very least, if let's say you don't resonate with that kind of being full on, if you will, in October, I feel like you were encouraged to do that or nudged. It feels as though for some of you, there's this energy of constant, how do I say, your intuition or spirit, or feeling like your intuition or spirit was trying to always bring you back to the present moment, right? And I'm not sure why, but for somebody, the colors purple or blue may resonate with you. Maybe they're important to you in some way, shape, or form. And I just felt called to point that out. So if they are for you for some reason, there may be something very important here for you. Please comment below and let me know if that resonates with you. So what was reborn, renewed, or began for you in the month of October? You have Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, and divine plan. Yeah, so, again, I feel like that energy of, how do I say this? Like things are just going to unfold the way that they need to, right? There's this energy of almost a state of surrender, really trusting in divine plan, or trusting that things are going to unfold for you in a way that is best for you, however that might look. Again, it kind of feels like throwing fear to the side or to the back burner, not really dwelling on it too much. And I feel like, this could be laying some really firm foundations for you, or started to lay some really firm foundations for you, where you're feeling more secure in yourself, feeling more safe in yourself, feeling more confident in who you are, feeling more almost grounded, less fearful, less untrusting, and are allowing, let's say, the universe, God, spirit, whatever resonates with you, allowing that to hold you. For some of you, I don't know why, but it feels like there could have been some kind of experience, either in October or prior to that, where I don't even know what it was. Maybe it was during meditation, or for some of you, like being out in nature somewhere, camping or hiking or mountain climbing or something, where you just had this it feels like a spiritual experience. And if you don't resonate with like being outside, it could have been a dream or something where it was like feeling spirit move in you or speak to you, and that being very profound in some way. And so after that occurrence, you may have pivoted, right? Where again, there's more of this kind of surrender or trust being put into that divine plan, or being put toward whatever's unfolding for you. I love this energy. It feels very empowered and confident, where you may have not felt like that previously, or maybe you did, but it was sporadic or something. This feels more sure. Okay. You have as well Page of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, which is really fascinating, right? Because the Page of Cups is this energy of like a dreamer. It's kind of your head in the clouds, like type of thing. And I feel as though where you may have again felt insecure, or maybe even felt like you didn't know what you were doing, or like you needed to know what you were doing, or maybe that you had been disappointed in the past, kind of surrendering or throwing caution to the wind. It feels like, again, there's now this sense of feeling more secure, more safe, more confident, more grounded in how you're moving, right? So again, I feel like this is something that I feel like was being reborn or renewed within you. And again, I feel like it comes from this energy of being more comfortable in your own skin and not really giving a whole lot of weight to the opinions, judgments, or perspectives of others or projections of others. And it's interesting as well because I feel as though prior to this, for some of you, you may have felt like, will I ever feel good in myself? Will I ever feel good with just me? Right? I feel like for some of you, you may have had a bit of like codependent type of energy in the past where you were kind of like reliant on the approval of other people. And I feel like there was this energy of like just wanting to feel good about yourself by yourself. Or for yourself without needing somebody else to affirm that for you. So take that as it resonates, as with everything on this channel. Four of Cups in the reverse is this feeling of, again, kind of being very aware of yourself and choosing happiness, like accepting yourself for what you are and who you are, and the differences between you and others, and really choosing to find happiness in that. Again, there is this overwhelming feeling of being or feeling secure and safe in yourself and choosing to be happy about who you are, right? And again, I think this is a very powerful place to be in. Prior to this energy, I feel like there could have been this very disconnected feeling where you felt very disconnected from yourself, very disconnected from your truth, very disconnected from your path, very disconnected from spirit. And the energy that came through for you in October, I feel kind of put you in a position where you now feel more connected to those things, are accepting of those things, more aware of your truth, and again are choosing the things that are in alignment with that, which is thereby, or is essentially you choosing your own happiness. You also have Hathor light codes, light immersion, full system upgrade, power recall. Like I said, there's a lot of kind of focus on that root chakra energy. And I do feel like, what was renewed for you is that power, right? I feel like there's this empowerment that came through for you, or got the ball rolling in this space of empowerment, where you have taken back your power again from, for some of you, the past and things you've experienced and wounds and traumas and programmings that you've been carrying for a long time. And in a lot of ways, I feel like, there's that energy of calling back your power from those things that made you feel unworthy, insignificant, weird, uncomfortable in your own thoughts and your own feelings and your own body. And again, this is very powerful. I don't know why, but for some of you, you may resonate with like righting wrongs. That's like completely left field, but it just dropped in, so take it how it resonates with you. And that may be where some of this peace is coming from. So you also have here humility. You have developed the loving awareness that you and everyone else are on the same but different paths. Yeah, it's very interesting because I feel like there's this energy of like seeing your uniqueness, of seeing that you have this unique perspective, and there are incredibly special things about you. But also recognizing that you're not the only one that feels that way, right? You're not the only one who feels unique and different and weird. You're not the only one who has something or sees things from a different perspective. I feel like there's been perhaps a lot of programming that you've been working through around conforming. It feels like, people may have tried to pressure you or push you or convince you that you needed to be a certain way, right? And I feel like, this is something that you've started to work through or release through the month of October. I am going to read from the guidebook for you about this humility card, and I do feel like there's been like a lot of fear released, or there was the opportunity to release a lot of fear in the month of October. So again, just as a reminder, this is what was reborn, renewed, or began for you. Remember to acknowledge that no one is lesser or greater than you. Only some employ the tools of love, compassion, and acceptance to a lesser or greater extent. Humility is one of life's most estimable qualities. Accepting others as fellow souls who only desire love and understanding and encouragement is the highest achievement of all. Learn not to compare yourself to others, because you never really know what personal trials and obstacles they face. A humble soul does not come from a space of fear, but attempts to take chances on new ideas and experiences for the benefit of all. Ever grateful for today and enthusiastic about what tomorrow may bring, they naturally exhibit compassion and charity, deriving true joy from giving rather than receiving. When you live without self-importance and pride, you find it easy to practice kindness. Life doesn't revolve around only what you can do to succeed, but what you can do to help those on your path. With a humble spirit, you never need to compare yourself to another, because you realize that it is our inherent uniqueness that teaches us about the world in which we live. Everyone has a purpose for being. I mean, it pretty much goes without saying, right? But I feel like it gives us a much deeper understanding of what may have began for you last month. You also have gratitude. You fully appreciate the invaluable lessons that life lovingly presents to you. Yeah, again, I really feel as though there's this energy of, how do I say this? It feels as though, again, there's this acknowledgement of your uniqueness and being grateful, which you guys, I'm being brought back to this kind of profound spiritual experience. But I feel as though there's an acknowledgement of all of the things that you've been through and experienced, and maybe would have preferred to do without, that has brought you to this place where you feel grateful for who you are, right? Where there's an understanding that the things that you've experienced have allowed you to become the person that you are. And even though maybe you feel like you could have done without them, without all of the experiences you've had, you would not have the unique perspective. You would not be the unique being that you are, and you wouldn't have these unique gifts to share with others. So, it feels like there's an element of gratitude here for who you are. And again, I feel like this is also what is allowing you or helping you to really accept who you are and to love who you are. You have responsibility. You are aware of the power of your thoughts and the amount of love you express. There is an energy here of, essentially that, how do I say this? It feels like taking responsibility for how you let people influence your experience, and understanding that it is your responsibility to move according to the way that you feel is best for you. I also feel like this for some could be that energy that I picked up on of righting wrongs, because I feel as though there's some level of responsibility that some have taken for that, wanting to reconcile or atone for certain things, and that bringing some sense of peace. But more than anything else, I feel like there's this energy of this rebirthed or renewed sense of responsibility, where again you understand that if you allow people, projections, judgments, environments, situations, groups, whatever it is, to influence your experience, then if it turns out in a way that doesn't feel good, then you allowed that to happen. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I kind of may have explained that a little bit weird. But it really does feel like, oh, so if I let somebody influence me into not doing something and I find myself unhappy, that is my responsibility. I allowed that to happen. And so, I do feel like there's some of you, I'm kind of seeing it as kind of putting like a stake in the ground, or putting your foot down, where it's like, I'm not going to allow that to happen anymore because I want to be happy. I am choosing happiness by choosing what I feel is true and in alignment for me over what someone else may, try to get me to do. And understanding that their perspective on that is their own problem, right? That has nothing to do with you. So for again, if they find that whatever choices you're making or however you're moving is foolish or irresponsible or whatever, that's a them problem, not a you problem, because you, I feel, have come to the understanding that you have to live with you for the rest of your life. No one else has to do that but you. And so if you're going to be happy and experience fulfillment and peace and contentment and joy and these sorts of things, then you have to take responsibility for that and act accordingly, right? Okay, so the wisdom that will best support your healing, growth, and evolution based on everything that's come through here for you last month: break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. Yeah, a lot of what has come through here has been very much about healing those belief systems, those patterns, that programming, right? It really has been about like setting yourself free from all of these things that have kept you kind of boxed in or kept you living for other people. And I feel as though, there's this nudge for you to continue to heal, to continue to break out of that box, to continue to rewrite your future, essentially, by choosing the path that is best for you. I do feel like for some of you, some of these things that you've healed or moved through in the month of October could be stemming from things you've experienced in childhood, potentially past lives as well, but I'm really getting this energy of deep rooted things, or that base or root chakra, and childhood experiences. Things that made you feel, again, uncomfortable in your own skin. We also have share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution, expression. Yes. I mean, really, the wisdom that's coming through here for you definitely aligns with everything we've just been discussing, right? Because it is about, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks, says, does in response, or, as they react to how you move. It does not matter. It is about you coming out of your cave, facing that persecution, and moving the way you feel necessary for your own happiness. Okay? For your own experience and evolution. Like, this is not about hiding who you are. And I feel, the wisdom here is to continue to do that, to continue moving in that way. You also have your inner temple, devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. So again, like I was saying, right, it's really about being devoted to your own truth, being devoted to your own heart, opening your heart up, experiencing love and joy and kindness and compassion and happiness in whatever ways you can, right? Choosing the path that is going to lead you to those things. I feel like a lot of what's taking place as you move forward is bringing balance into your experience by continuing to align with your truth. And of course, by healing and releasing the things that, make you feel uncomfortable, if you will, in your own being. So, I feel like you may find that as you move forward, how do I say, anytime that you are in a situation or in a relationship or experience where you feel like you can't be you, I feel like the red flags are going to be up. I feel like, that alarm is going to go off in your head where it's like, hey, this is not where we want to be. Right? Again, I feel like there's going to be, or there could be this energy of like always trying to push you to this place where you are listening to your truth and are moving in accordance with where your heart is calling you, right? You have here the 9 of Cups in the reverse. So, here's the thing. The 9 of Cups in the reverse can be this energy of like dissatisfaction or lack of true joy. And again, I feel like the wisdom that's coming through here for you is we're not doing any of that, right? I'm not doing things and moving in ways that are going to make me, or how do I say, are going to put me in a position where I'm not happy with what I'm doing. Right? If it doesn't fulfill me, if it doesn't satisfy me, if it robs me of my joy, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to keep pouring my cups on the ground. Right? I really feel like the wisdom is like, hey, right, let's not repeat the same mistakes. Right, let's live for ourselves now. Let's put ourselves first. Let's align with the things that are really going to bring true, deep joy into our experience, that are going to bring fulfillment into our experience, that are going to provide this space of emotional stability within ourselves. You also have here angelic frequency. Angels are here. You are safe, potent connection. So I feel as though if you resonated with this kind of profound spiritual experience, I feel like this is confirmation for someone, because I feel as though this has come through to let you know, like, hey, you're not alone. Yes, those beings are still with you, right? Just because you had that experience, and maybe things have been, let's say, spiritually dry or quiet, does not mean that you are alone. You have established this deeper connection at this point, and if you continue to develop that, if you continue to nurture that, I feel as though you will feel very strongly again that you're not alone. I feel like there's an encouragement here for you to continue to pray, if and again, this is not coming from a dogmatic religious perspective, right? Somebody once said something, which is, prayer is when you talk to God, meditation is when God talks to you. And I feel as though there's this energy of continuing to, again, nurture and develop that connection by talking to God, by, giving those angelic beings who are within you and around you power to move in your life, power to help you to make the decisions that are best for you, because they can see things that you cannot, right, from this very dense perspective. But again, I do feel like a big part of this card coming through is just confirmation to let you know, again, that you're not alone, that that connection is strengthening or is strong, and you can continue to develop that, and you're safe being who you are. Yes, you have here as well evolution. You realize that obstacles are merely lessons on your path to love. So again, there's another kind of focal point on what you've experienced, right? The things that you've experienced bringing you to this point in your life. I also feel as though there's attention being brought to the fact that you are evolving, that you are growing, that the work or the effort that you have put in, even if you maybe wouldn't call it that, are aiding in your evolution. I also feel like there's encouragement to continue to do this, right? To, how do I say, when you come face to face with certain challenges and obstacles, to see them as stepping stones in your evolution, right? And instead of fearing them or running from them or any of those sorts of things, is facing them. Now that of course is easier said than done, but it is this nudge for you to keep moving that way. What is the saying? It's like, what is it, like, you're, if you find yourself faced with fear, you're headed in the right direction, type of thing. But I am going to read from the book here. Oh, I opened up to the exact page, wild. But I'm going to read from the guidebook here for you as we close out your reading. And again, keep in mind, this is the wisdom that will best support your healing, growth, and evolution based on what came through in the month of October. Life in the physical dimension is all about your soul's evolution. And you now understand that the quickest way to evolve is to utilize the energy of love in all you do. Every day you are presented with opportunities to project your loving energy tempered with understanding. Acknowledge that each day allows you to become aware of the world around you, offering you the chance to expand spiritually. Look upon each experience and person as something unique to learn from, because that is what you signed up for. That's why you are here. You spiritually evolve when knowledge gained through application of lessons and integrations of truths resonates within your being. It can be difficult to grow without stepping outside of your comfort zone. This is where the virtues of faith and hope are tested, and you embrace the conviction that everything works out for good. The power of love is infinite truth, or excuse me, the power of love is the infinite truth. With this power, you are not influenced by judgment or bitterness. With it, all things are understood, accepted, and forgiven. When aligned with love, you are able to see the common threads running through everyone and everything. You become aware that all is part of a greater whole. The mindfulness that truth is bigger than your ego, as well as gratitude for every experience you have, is an important aspect of your evolution. I feel like that's an incredibly powerful piece of wisdom to share as we close out your reading. I pray, Sag, that something here has resonated for you in what you experienced through the month of October. I pray that you find it helpful in navigating your journey as you move forward, and that you have the courage to continue to align with your truth, to continue facing your true north, to not take on the projections or judgments of other people, but rather you have the courage to release the fears, to release any fears that may, should you give them control or power, be able to deter you from your truth. The world needs your unique perspective, your unique sense of compassion, love, and kindness. And I pray that you are able to share that confidently, courageously, fearlessly, because again, it is so, so very needed. Take care. Oh, If something in this reading resonated for you, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, commenting below, or subscribing. It really, really does help the channel to grow by telling YouTube that there may be something valuable here for someone else. In addition to that, I greatly appreciate your feedback. I find it so much value in it, and it really helps me to grow as a reader. So again, I really, really appreciate you doing that. Take care of your evolving, growing, loving, unique soul. Peace be with you and within you. And I hope to see you in November 2023's Tarotscope. Bye.